Yeah. 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 We rolling deep across our 10 in the dirty South where the rivers blend from Lake Charles to Baton Rouge. We riding with the Saints under them southern skies. We hustle hard, ain't no time to stop. Drive to the top, it's our time to shine. From Nola's heart, we redefine the grind. Southwest Louisiana, stand up proud. With every beat, we bring the heat, hear the crowd. From Houston streets to Lafayette, Low McNeese. Right, let the raging cages flow. DJ Dirty South, turn it up loud. Marking our vibes, yeah, we make our proud. Get on the bus, we coming alive. Drive to the top, it's our time to shine. From Nola's heart, we redefine the grind. Southwest Louisiana, stand up proud.
Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome back to another live edition of On the Go right here on Driving to the Top Productions and Dirty South Entertainment. I'm your host, Marky Mark himself, Dirty South. You can find me on X at Dirty South ENT _. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, subscribe to my YouTube channel, of course, On the Go. You can catch every Thursday night, man. I'm hyped for tonight. Like I'm using my P's and Q's tonight, but it's gonna be a fun one. It's Thursday, July 2nd, 2026. We're in a brand new month. 2 more days until we pop those fireworks, celebrate America's 250th birthday. Get back! We're gonna have a fun show tonight. Of course, y'all know what to do. I've already gave you the handles, but hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. This show is presented by, of course, Rogue Energy, the official game and drink of On the Go, and POGGERS, the official vitamin supplement of On the Go. Pick your poison, whether you go to rogueenergy.com or download that app on any mobile device or go to poggers.shop. There's the promo code right there, OTG, to get you 10% off of your order. Not much to talk about, but we're going to start something till we get to football season, because when it's July's your very last month without American football on TV. When August is in the air, football fever is back. Whether you're getting ready for high school football, college football returns in August. The NFL will be going through preseason in August until the regular season begins in September. So if you haven't seen, I posted it on Open Mic and whatnot. For the next 7 weeks, I am going to be previewing these teams week after week, every Thursday. There's the dates. Today's July 2nd, which means we're going to kick off this preview tour at the University of Houston. We're going to talk the Houston Cougars, and we're going to start the segment with that. I mean, we're going to talk a little bit of FIFA. I'm going to do my little Astros talk, catch on the Gumbo Gators. That's all I'm mainly going to have tonight. But majority of this show, I'm going to be previewing the 2026 Houston Cougar football season. And let's not waste any time. Let's get on the bus and head to the 713. Let's go to TDCU. Let's go to the cage and talk the upcoming season for the Houston Cougars. Y'all ready? Let's go. By the way, I'm going to update this overlay. Look, it does look realistic, but I got to fix that end zone and whatnot. But we're going to kick off my first preview tour. We're going to talk the 2026 Houston Cougar upcoming season. First off, let's kind of run back what happened last year with the Cougars. I know they had, in just their second year in the Big 12, it was 10 times better than what they had their first year. In Fritz's second season, their overall record, 10-3 overall, with a 6-3 record in the Big 12. Were in the top 25, finishing 22. And finished the season, it hurts me to say this, but I got to give them their flowers. They wrapped up their season with a victory against LSU in the Texas Bowl in H-Town, in their backyard, NRG Stadium, which is like less than 10 miles from campus, at least. But hey, for Fritz's second season, Slade Nagel's first season as offensive coordinator, and Austin Armstrong's first season as defensive coordinator, I got to give it to the Cougars on a successful season like that. But let's talk. Let's start off with a couple of I might have a few impact players or two I want to bring up. So with that being said, I really don't know who's all 100% returning, but I can tell you who we're going to get some. I can tell you some people that we are going to lose going into the transfer portal. Of course, some big names like Jesus Machado at linebacker. He's actually staying in Houston, but he's going to the crosstown rival. He transferred to Rice. Zion Chris Gramillion, who was a backup quarterback for Connor Wegman. He's going to Tulane. A couple other players transferring, including Demetrius Hunter to Colorado, Devin Williams to Lamar, Joshua Donald to Louisville, Kevon Tooley to Missouri, David Nukwe to Syracuse, Marquez Shoulders. Still hadn't made a decision yet. Hopefully he stays. Xavier Tibbs to Western Michigan, Corey Platt Jr. to in-state rivals Texas Tech. That's some outgoing Cougars that we've lost going into the transfer portal. But picking up a few names from the transfer portal, a couple shout-outs here. Mekhi Hughes at running back. We got him out of Oregon. Trent Walker at wide receiver from Oregon State. Shadre Hurst, inside linebacker out of Tulane. We got him coming as well, including like a Miller Malone out of Western Kentucky. Evan Knoll from Florida. Moose Tunkara from Florida. Did I say his name right? Moise Tunkara. I ain't got time to play the clip yet. Jaden Yates from Ole Miss. Jalen Mayo from Stephen F. Austin, and Tyson Turner, also coming from Texas Tech. So we got quite a bit of good names coming out of the transfer portal. Could be some impact players, no doubt. But if I had to pick two players that we got coming back that could be some impact players, I got to start with the man himself, the former Texas A&M quarterback. Connor Wegman is coming back for his senior season. He's going to end his career. The former Aggie, coming back for his senior year. The former three-time Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week honoree. He was also on the Davey O'Brien watch list. He was also a winner of the Davey O'Brien Award postseason grade 8 selection, and he was an honoree. He started all 13 games at quarterback last season in 2025. Let's look at some of his numbers from last season. I got to throw in here. Overall, he had over 2,700 passing yards, 25 touchdown passes. He also had 700 total rushing yards, 11 total rushing touchdowns on 171 carries. His longest was 50 yards. So we got our ace guy back. It's nice to see Connor Wegman come back for one more year. He could have went to the NFL draft if he wanted, but he's staying around. It's good to have him back. Another name I think we also need to look out for. The numbers may not have been good last year, but I feel like this was a stepping stone a year ago. But senior Amir Thomas, wide receiver, I think could be an impact player. Yeah, he had some season last year, but with the numbers he had, they were not as big as what I thought you would be as a wide receiver. He only had 966 total receiving yards on 67 catches. That's good numbers, but, 12 touchdown receptions. I felt like he should have had more, but I feel like maybe this will be the season he can have over 1,000 receiving yards, and I think he can do that. His longest reception of the season was for 64 yards as well. I think that's another guy I believe could be an impact player going into the 2026 season is Amir Thomas. But just for fun things on the side I want to look at while we look at the Houston Cougars before I reveal their schedule, uniform-wise, we've seen these combos a lot. And, of course, I don't remember what game it was. I'm going to look on the schedule later. But, that signature Oiler Blue, Love You Blue edition, we're going to see the return of this. We always see this at least one game. Definitely going to make a comeback. You're going to see that Houston logo a lot more often. We saw it quite a bit in these helmets last year. This is a sick, dope helmet. Can't hate on the white either. But I love to keep it classic. Of course, we're going to see that bold UH on the side of the helmet, and not just in red. Also, you're going to see it in white as well. I guarantee that those 5 helmets we're going to see quite often this season. I know when they usually do a game where they have a blackout, usually the UH or the Houston font is bolded in black, but they always change something different with that uniform combo. But you're guaranteed you're going to see combos like this throughout the season. You might see an all red out, especially at home. You're going to have the Love You Blue game right there, and all white out as well. So, good combos right there. You might see red on white with the red helmet, or you might see white helmet on red jersey, white pants. With this combo, you could see white on red, or white on red on red. There's many different combos when it comes to this look with these colors. Now, here's the 2026 schedule for the Houston Cougars. I think I gave it out a while back. This is where I'm going to believe where I could see if they could pick up wins or losses this season. So, and I'm going to use a different calendar as a cheat sheet because we'll have a couple Friday games for the season as well. But just like majority of everyone, they're going to start their season on a Saturday, September 5th. They open up at home with now back in the Pac-12, Oregon State. The Pac-12 has been reincarnated yesterday, so the Pac-12 is back alive. The Mountain West got a new look. Sun Belt Conference got a new look. Everyone's been talking about those 3 conferences lately. So Houston's kicking off the season with a non-conference opponent. Now you can kind of say we're back in the Power 5 situation with the Pac-12 being reincarnated and joining along with the SEC, the Big 10, the Big 12, and, of course, the ACC. So we got the Power 5 once again. Houston, Oregon State at home. Could go either way, but, I think with how successful they were last season, especially ending against a team like LSU, I think they start the season off hot. So I'm going to make sure I tally these right so I don't get them wrong. I got, of course, the Cougars starting off the season with a win over the Beavers of Oregon State. So I'll start off with a win there. Week 2, they welcome in the Southern Jags out of Baton Rouge. Definitely no surprise here. This one, I believe, can be a win as well. Week 3 is going to be the real test here. It'll be their first Big 12 conference game of the season. They go to Lubbock. They play Texas Tech, despite all the drama going on with the gambling and whatnot, and bringing in these players. Texas Tech might be on thin ice. Before all this shit happened, I was a little worried about this probably being their first loss. But despite all the drama Texas Tech got going on, Houston's looking for redemption, and I think they finally get the redemption. They go on the road and get the victory over the Red Raiders. So I think the Cougs can start off 3-0. I'm crazy saying that. Hell, they could start 4-0 because they go to Georgia Southern, non-conference matchup. Georgia Southern, I want to say, is still in the Sun Belt. If that's the case, I think this should be no problem for the Cougs as well, and I think they can go 4-0. So I got them beating Georgia Southern. Then it's like after week 4, everything else on the schedule is conference play all the way to the end of the regular season. They host UCF week 5. This one, I'm going to have to find a way to probably pull up and see how each team did last season. I'm gonna just pull up. All right, here we go. Big 12 conference football season. So last year, UCF went 2-7 in the conference. I mean, maybe things could change, but you know what? The fact that they started 2-7 last year, I think the Cougars can go 5-0. They'll be 5-0. Then week 6, they're on the road. They go to Kansas State. Last season, Kansas State went 5-4. Now, remember, this is at Bill Snyder Stadium. They play tough at home. Kansas State can be a tough team to beat in their own house. But usually around October, we start seeing upsets and near falls and whatnot. If I were to give Houston a first loss of the season, I might have to throw Kansas State in the book. If this would have been in H-Town, I'd pick them to win. But I think they get that first loss on the road. I think they drop their first loss of the season to K-State. So I'm going to give them an L in that one. But they'll be back at home October 17th, taking on a team who went winless in the Big 12 last year. Oklahoma State, I guess they're still in rebuilding mode. They went 1-11 last year. They only won one regular season game. They were winless in the conference. I think they'll bounce back after that K-State loss. I got them beating Oklahoma State. Utah, a very dangerous team here. Plus, it's in Salt Lake City. Utah finished third in the Big 12 last year with a 7-2 record in the conference while going 11-2. I think they were short of the college football playoffs. But Utah is a dangerous team to be reckoned with. You better watch Utah be as a contender to win the Big 12 now that Texas Tech's out the picture. So I'm going to have to give them a loss to Utah, so I'm going to pick Utah winning this one. Cincinnati on November 7th, so they will get a bye week on Halloween. So week 10 is the bye for the Cougars. Week 7, they'll be back at home against Cincinnati, who the Bearcats had an average season last year. They went 5-4. They usually play their blackout game around this time, around before or after Halloween. But I'm going to give them a victory over the Bearcats, so I'll give them a win over Cincinnati. November 14th, they go to Boulder to play the Colorado Buffaloes, who were the second worst team in the Big 12 last season. I don't know what's going on over there. I don't know if Coach Prime going to pull some strings here, but I got them beating the Colorado Buffaloes there. These next two games are going to be tricky here. You better watch these next two. West Virginia. Yeah, last year they didn't have the best season ever. They went 2-7, but why do I feel if they drop a third game, it could be West Virginia? But you know what? I'm not going to think that. I'm actually going to have them beating West Virginia. Now, Baylor, it's a rivalry game. It's at home. Baylor last season went 3-6. They were kind of in that rebuilding mode, but I think they're going to bounce back and be a better team to make a decent bowl game. But I might think they could drop. If they ain't going to have a perfect season at home. If they drop a home game this year, it might be Baylor. So with that being said, I have the Cougars finishing with an overall record of 9-3. Possible Big 12 champion contenders, because the good news is they don't have to play BYU. BYU went 8-1 last year. BYU could also be a favorite to win the Big 12 alongside Utah. So it's like if I have to pick the top three in the Big 12, I'm going to, no particular order, BYU, Utah, and possibly Houston, if by some miracle. Other names, you may have to throw in there that the Cougars don't have to play. Arizona, watch the Wildcats, watch Arizona State. TCU, I'm not 100% sure. They could be an average team. Hell, watch Iowa State. That's another one in the Big 12. They don't have to worry about playing in the regular season, but you could see Iowa State try and make some noise and get to the Big 12 championship. So it's like, watch BYU, watch Utah, and out of the teams like that they don't have to play, out of those four, I might have to throw in Iowa State. But I think Houston can have a good season. Love to see them make it in the Big 12 championship, but I feel like they're just going to be short with 3 losses and possibly be short of a college football playoff run. But I can at least possibly see them in a New Year's 6 matchup. This is only their 3rd season in the Big 12, 3rd time's the charm under Willie Fritz. This team could be something. They proved a point beating LSU last year, and we're going to see what happens. Because, we know what they can do on the hardwood, but they've been getting a lot better in the in the Big 12 in football, and I think they'll have a successful season. They're just going to be right on the thin line of a possible Big 12 championship or even possibly a college football playoff appearance. So that's really all I got on the Houston Cougars right now. I'm repping them tonight because I'm doing this tour, but that's going to probably wrap up my Houston Cougar talk. But we're going to keep this going in H-Town because we're just going to go across the city. We're going to take it from the cage to the icebox. So let's go ahead and continue this H-Town talk with some Astros talk. You guys are ready? Let's go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is some Astros talk where I'm going to be talking Astros baseball. Good day to talk because I don't have to worry about them playing tonight, despite they're losing a series to the Minnesota Twins recently, not long ago. But I know this past weekend they had a 4-game series with the Detroit Tigers. They ended up winning the series, winning 3 games out of 4. So a week ago today, they beat the Tigers 2-1. They dropped Friday's game 8-0, but Saturday they got the win 8-6 and closed out winning 7-5. But against the Twins, Monday they dropped to the Twins 5-4, picked up a win 6-4 on Tuesday, and then yesterday they dropped the series against the Twins 8-3 was the final in that one. I know Tetsuya Imai had a horrible performance in Game 2. He was only played in one, not even the entire first inning, and then they pulled him out the game because he played horrible. But let's just look at some numbers here for the Houston Astros. I know right now their overall record is 43-46. They're still third in the AL West, trailing the Rangers and the Mariners, who are now back in second place. While in the American League, they're ranked 7th in the American League. Last I saw overall Major League Baseball, they were I think 12th. I think they dropped pretty low. I think they dropped to 17. They're 17th overall in Major League Baseball. But the stat leaders, I know in batting across the board, it's still Yordan Alvarez. He's still leading his batting average, .319 of the season, 26 home runs, 60 RBIs, 100 total hits so far this season, and his OBP is .433. While in pitching, we can say Spencer Arguetti leads with 7 wins as a starting pitcher, as well with leading in strikeouts with 75. Josh Hader leads with 8 saves for the season. Steven Okert leads with 10 holds, and Mike Burrow leads in season with his ERA at 5.58. So that's your leaders right there for the season. Now, coming up for the Astros with this 4th of July weekend, they're going to be back at Dyken Park. It's a 3-game series with the Tampa Bay Rays. Tomorrow night, we'll be live on Apple TV. So let's see who's on the mound against the Tampa Bay Rays here. We got Spencer Arguetti versus Nick Martinez tomorrow night. That should be a great starting lineup. 4th of July, the fireworks will be popping in. Will be a night game. Hunter Brown versus Drew Rasmussen. Going to be a good lineup there. Then Sunday, they're going to wrap up on Peacock at 2:30 p.m. Peter Lambert versus Griffin Jacks. So that's the starting lineups for the pitcher. I know so far this season, Spencer Arguetti is 7-4 as a starter. His ERA is 4.00. He's only allowed 56 hits. He threw 75 strikeouts and allowed 37 walks and 9 home runs this season as a starter. Meanwhile, for Hunter Brown, who just made his return, he only started 1 game as a starter, 1-0. This is only his 2nd game as a starter since coming back from injury. In just that 1 game, he's only allowed 17 hits, 32 strikeouts, and 13 walks, and only allowed 2 home runs in his 1 start. And then finally on Sunday with Peter Lambert, he's 6-5 as a starter. He's only allowed 57 hits, 68 strikeouts, and allowed 31 walks and 10 home runs for that one. And then so next show, they're going to have a 3-game series with the Washington Nationals on the road. Monday, they'll play at 5:45. Well, actually, all 3 games are going to be played at 5:45 our time. So on the mound for Game 1, it's Mike Burrows taking on Cade Cavalli. Tuesday's matchup, it's going to be Tetsuya Imai versus Andrew Alvarez. Hopefully, Tetsuya will have a much better game than he did last time. And then Wednesday, we wrap up with Spencer Arguetti and Foster Griffin. Forrest Griffin's the MMA fighter. So hopefully, and then it won't be long. I think after next week, it's All-Star week, and then we'll officially be halfway through the regular season. And then I should have some real total numbers on how the Astros did on the first half of the season. But just to keep winning more games, you're actually getting close to tying your losing record, and we need to get over 46. They're 43-46 right now. They need 4 wins to get over that losing record. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in the near future with that. So, and that's really all the talk I have on the Houston Astros. We'll go ahead and take it to my neck of the woods real quick. We'll go to Southwest Louisiana so I can give you guys an update on the Lake Charles Gumbo Gators. So let's take it to the 337 and get an update on Lake Charles's favorite baseball team outside of McNeese. Let's go.
I love to have a good time.
I forgot about that. Well, this is usually the segment where it's called Baseball in Southwest Louisiana, but we're just talking Gumbo Gator baseball because that's the only baseball we got. I don't follow the cane cutters and whatnot. I stick with one team in this league. Well, right now, I mean, they're picking up a little bit. I know they had a win last night. I mean, we'll look at the recap there. But as of right now, the Gumbo Gators are 13-12 so far this season. They're 6-4 at home and 7-8 on the road. Total statistics for the season updated as of right now. So far this season, the Gumbo Gators have 173 total runs, 228 total hits, 37 doubles, 11 triples, 10 home runs, 139 RBIs, 58 extra base hits, 317 total bases, 147 walks. They were a hit by a pitch 55 times. They struck out 202 times, 18 sacrifice flies, 12 sacrifice hits, 12 hits in the double play, 71 stolen bases, while they were caught stealing 24 times. Their batting average this season, .274. Their OPP is .409. Their sluggish percentage, .381. And their ERA is 6.18. And that's your total numbers right now for the Gators. And let's kind of do a recap of what we've had since last time we were on the show here. So back on, what was it? We'll go back to the 27th, because last time I was on the air, they were hosting, they were on the road at Brazos Valley. They lost 10-8. Last Friday, I think it was the 27th. Oh, no, the 27th was a Saturday. They got a victory over Baton Rouge at home. They won 7-6, and then they beat them again on Sunday 8-5. So they beat the defending champs 2 nights in a row. They went back to Brazos Valley. They dropped the first game 9-3, but got the win yesterday over Brazos Valley 10-8. They're currently playing the San Antonio River Monsters as of right now. But here, I'm going to give you an update on what's going to happen this weekend for the Gumbo Gators this 4th of July weekend. I know they're hosting San Antonio tonight and tomorrow night, and then Saturday, 4th of July, they welcome back the Brazos Valley Bombers. So you're going to get double action of fireworks. They're going to have a firework Friday at home tomorrow night against San Antonio. They're going to do another one for the 4th of July. On Saturday, they welcome back Brazos Valley again on Sunday. Then after their off day on Monday, Tuesday, July 7th, they go to Acadiana to play the Cane Cutters rivalry, Battle of I-10. Then they host Acadiana on Wednesday, July 8th. I might make an appearance. Might show up at that game. Depends how FIFA goes. And then when I'm back on the air next Thursday, July 9th, they will be on the road against one of the newly teams, the Abilene Flying Bison, who I want to say is still the number 1 team in the Texas Collegiate League as of right now. So let's see if we can get an update in the rankings where the Gumbo Gators are right now. So 8 teams. So as of right now, there is a new number 1 seed. The Victoria Generals are back on top. They're in first place with an 18-8 record, followed by now the San Antonio River Monsters, who are 12-11. Cane Cutters are third, or Cane Cutters and the Gumbo Gators got the same record right now, 13-12, but the Cane Cutters are on top in third place. Gators are in fourth. The defending champs, the Rougarou, are now in fifth place at 12-12. The Abilene Flying Bison, who was the number 1 seed a week ago, dropped all the way to the 6th seed at 10-12. Brazos Valley Bombers are in 7th at 11-14, and in last place, the newly team, the Sherman Shadowcats, at 7-15. That's your standings right now for that. And what else is there to talk about? I know I could throw some more stuff in here before I wrap up with FIFA. You know what I know we can talk about? Let's talk about some of these trades that happened in the NBA. Well, first and foremost, some people leaving teams, going to other teams. What about like Giannis Antetokounmpo for the Milwaukee Bucks going to the Miami Heat? Jaylen Brown leaving the Celtics going to the Philadelphia 76ers? Kawhi Leonard leaving the Clippers going back to a team he won a championship with in the Toronto Raptors? Giannis going to Miami, I like it. They can make Miami a dangerous team. Jaylen Brown to Philly, dog shit. I don't see what they see in Philly. Philly might have a stacked starting five lineup. I have no idea. Philly's dog shit. Kawhi Leonard, dog shit too. He was dog shit in LA, which Clippers, I don't even know why they still have a franchise. They ain't been to the playoffs in God knows how long. And if they do make a playoff, they can't get past the first round. I feel like they wasted all that money building them that new arena, and they ain't going to win shit. And you think him going back to Toronto is going to make anything better? Toronto was just a one-hit wonder in 2019. One thing everyone's talking about is where LeBron's going to end up next. LeBron's leaving the Lakers. There's talks of him possibly, I see two teams at least. One of these two teams he's going to end up. Everyone thinks he's going to go to Golden State and go ring hop and go try and win one with Steph Curry and them. Some people think he might go back to Cleveland. Maybe retire there where he started. I can 100% see him going back home to Cleveland if this is the final stand. Golden State, I wouldn't be surprised if he's just ring hopping. I'm also hearing Philly. I'm also hearing the Spurs. I'm also hearing the Chicago Bulls. Even Miami. Wouldn't be surprised if he goes back to Miami. He can go play with Giannis. San Antonio, I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to go try and win a ring over there. They were short last year. I just can't see him in Philly. I damn sure can't see him in Chicago. You bring him to Chicago, he sure ain't wearing 23. I don't even think they'll let him wear 6. So that means what's going to happen with Lil Bronny? Is he going to last long with the Lakers, or are they going to cut him quick? I don't know, but as soon as I know something, I will, guys, keep you posted on where LeBron will probably end up in next season in 2026. But as far as like all these trades go, this has been insane. I like the honest one. Jaylen Brown going to Philly was insane. Kawhi Leonard going back to Toronto ain't going to solve anything. But let's go ahead and wrap this show up. I'm shocked this was a quick show. We're going to wrap up with the FIFA talk. I know we're currently in the round of 32, but the last time we were on the air, I did a watch-along with USA and Turkey, and USA dropped the game 3-2, but it didn't affect them. They were already moving on to the round of 32, so this game really didn't mean anything, but I would have loved to see them still win it. Also, that same day, Ivory Coast beat Curacao 2-0. Ecuador beat Germany 2-1, which said that was a shocking upset. Japan and Sweden tied 1-1. Netherlands beat Tunisia 3-0, and Paraguay and Australia tied 0-0. On Friday, France beat Norway 4-1. Senegal beat Iraq 5-0. Cape Verde and Saudi Arabia drew 0-0. And Spain beat Uruguay 1-0. The final day of group stage, which was the 27th, Croatia beat Ghana 2-1. England beat Panama 2-0. Colombia and Portugal drew 0-0, and Congo beat Uzbekistan 3-1. Round of 32 began on Sunday with Canada beating South Africa 1-0. So now this is win or go home. Monday night, Brazil beat Japan 2-1. Paraguay and Germany drew 1-1. They had to go to penalty kicks. Paraguay advanced on penalties 4-3. And the same with Morocco and Netherlands. They ended regulation tied 1-1. They go into penalty kicks. Morocco advanced, winning 3-2 in penalties. Tuesday night, Norway beat Ivory Coast 2-1. France beat Sweden 3-0. And Mexico beat Ecuador 2-0. And last night, England beat Congo 2-1. Belgium beat Senegal 3-2. And USA beat Bosnia 2-0. So all three co-hosts are still alive and are moving on to the round of 16. Meanwhile, today, we still have one more matchup to go in this round of 32. Switzerland and Algeria will be kicking off in about less than half an hour, where earlier Spain beat Austria 3-0 and Portugal beat Croatia 2-1. Before I get to the predictions here, I will predict this one. Switzerland and Algeria. I think I said Algeria would win. I want to see some standings right now. Not standings, stat leaders right now. Now we got a new top scorer. Kylian Mbappe of France passes Lionel Messi in points, playing at one more game over Messi, but ties Messi with 6 goals, the most goals scored this season. Harry Kane from England is tied with Erling Haaland out of Norway with 5. Ismaila Sarr from Senegal, Vinicius Jr. from Brazil, and Ousmane Dembele from France all have 4. I'm just going to go from there. Couple other big names. Ronaldo finally scored only his 2nd goal in FIFA, and they did that earlier in just 3 games. I don't even think Bruno even scored a goal yet, but that's like the only names really people been kind of keeping an eye on. But yeah, those top 4 right there. Kylian Mbappe, if I said the name right, Lionel Messi, Harry Kane, Erling Haaland, and Ismaila Sarr. You better watch those names there. Now, top assist leaders. Now, Michael Olise from France has the most assists with 5. Bruno from Brazil, not Bruno Fernandes. He 4 assists. Florian Wirtz from Germany, and Alexander Isak from Sweden, and Roberto Alvarado and Martin Odegaard are tied with 3, leading in assists there. When it comes to performances so far for this season, nothing changed on the match performances. Germany still scored the most goals in a single matchup back on June 14th against Curacao. They still do that. Mexico now has the current longest winning streak in FIFA with 4 straight consecutive wins. The longest losing streak went to Tunisia with 3 straight losses, and Uruguay with the longest winless streak as well with 3 losses. Still the largest attendance. I think nothing out-topped it yet. Mexico and South Africa, the very first game that opened up FIFA, still the largest attendance, over 80,000 in that game. And I think that was either in Guadalajara, or Mexico City. While the lowest attendance so far this season was Ghana and Panama on June 17th in Toronto, 42,942. It was the lowest attendance in FIFA so far. But let's wrap the show up with some predictions here. Let's go ahead and we're going to at least predict till we get to whatever we got of the round of 16. So the final day of round of 32 will be tomorrow, July 3rd. Australia, Egypt. I'm going to go with Australia. Argentina and Cape Verde at 5. Going with Argentina and Colombia and Ghana at 8:30 on Fox. I'm going to take Colombia. Saturday, we start the round of 16. We only got 2 games, starting with Canada and Morocco at noon. This one can go either way, back and forth, but I'm going to go with Canada. Paraguay and France at 4. Hell of a run for Paraguay, but I'm going with Viva la France to win that one. Sunday, July 5th, these 2 games I'm going to make sure to watch. These Brazil and Norway at 3 on Fox. Look, Norway, this was probably one of the best fan bases I've seen all throughout this tournament. But I have Brazil as one of my favorites to win FIFA this year, so I'm going to pick Brazil. Hell of a run for Norway making it to the round of 16. And then Mexico and England, this one is such a toss-up. Mexico got this long win streak, but I think it wraps up. I'm going with England to end the long winning streak for Mexico, and Mexico will be the first co-hosts to be eliminated in this tournament. When Monday comes, July 6th, we got Portugal and Spain at 2 p.m. Oh, that's going to be a good one. I wish I could watch. But for all the Ronaldo diehards, I think this is where it ends for them. I'm going with Spain over Portugal. And Monday night at 7 p.m. on Fox, it's USA, Belgium. And yes, we will have another watch-along, myself and Dylan for sure. Anyone else pops in. But Monday night, July 6th, 7 p.m. is when kickoff starts. We will go live 5 minutes before kickoff. USA and Belgium. Go USA. Hopefully I might have some gear by then. I need to get a jersey for the near future as well. That's all we're going to predict for now, because the round of 16 will wrap up on July 7th. There's still 2 more games left to decide. We're actually going to pick those during our watch along. The quarterfinals will begin on July 9th and will continue all the way till July 11th. The semifinals, July 14th and 15th. Third place game will be Saturday, July 18th, and the finals will be Sunday, July 19th as a schedule update. But as of right now, this will wrap up tonight's show. One more couple of reminders before we close out. I'm going to pop this back up again. My next football team preview tour, I'm going to stay in H-Town for the next one, I will preview the Houston Texans on my next episode 1 week from tonight on July 9th. Be sure to check that out, especially if you're Texans fans. And we've had over 1,000 views for this last watch along, and we're going to have trying out topic for this one. But join us on Saturday, July 11th, our UFC 329 watch along, Conor McGregor, Max Holloway 2, presented by Dirty South Entertainment, Driving to the Top Productions, and Rogue Energy. Be sure to join us. We're going to go live at 7:55 p.m. Central, 5 minutes before the main card goes live all over the world on Paramount Plus. So be sure to join us. We're going to have some fun. You never know who's going to pop up in the comments, who's going to show up to chat. We're going to drink, have a good time, and watch some UFC fights and give our reactions and whatnot. And from me to y'all, I hope you all have a wonderful, safe 4th of July weekend. It's America's 250th birthday. You know we're going to party like rock stars. Just party safely. You know, if you're popping fireworks, do them with caution. You know, don't be far away from everything when it happens. If you're going to let kids pop fireworks, be sure to watch them, especially. If you're going to be drinking, don't drink and drive. Get you a Uber, get you a designated driver, call you a cab. Just don't get behind the wheel. Don't drink and drive. The cops are usually bad around this time of year. Plus, 4th of July sells the most alcohol on holidays than any other holiday of the year. The most alcohol sales come for Independence Day, 4th of July. So drink responsibly, folks. And, of course, you're going to be out in the sun, you know. Stay hydrated. I know a lot of people are going to be drinking. Do what you got to do. Wear the sunscreen and whatnot. Don't overcook and undercook the meat if you're going to barbecue. Be sure you cook it the right way. You always got that one person who can't barbecue worth the shit, and he says he can barbecue. But for me to y'all, happy 4th of July. God bless y'all. God bless America. 250 years of kicking ass. I'm going to be repping my red, wine, blue on Saturday. Hope you guys enjoy y'all's 4th of July weekend as well. But from as always, peace, love, I'm out. I will see you guys next Thursday for this show. You'll see me again on Monday for the watch along. But for On the Go, next Thursday, same time, same place, 9 p.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and X. That's all, folks. God bless America. Happy 4th of July.